on to Captain America, if you don't mind.
Yeah, no problem.
Okay. Captain America. I don't know anything about this film, actually, other than the fact of actors they're casting. I'm kind of mad at who they're casting as Captain America.
Everyone is.
Yeah, he doesn't look like Captain America. I don't know why they casted him, but hey, some of the best casting decisions in the world were probably things I would never have casted, so.
Like Michael Keaton as Batman. Nobody liked Michael. Like when they said Michael Keaton, you're gonna be Batman. Everybody was like, "What? He played Mr. Mom." Like,
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Like, I was a kid back then, and I like Captain Logan. Did you see the video where where they're talking about where basically they had the panel of Captain Logan blows himself up, dude, and they were talking about it, and a couple of the people there was saying that a couple of people on that panel were saying that yes, I loved this movie when I was a kid, and then when I grew up, I learned how bad of a movie it is. And then a couple of them, I think King 1912 said, yeah, I've always hated this movie. Well, I really want to know if he really has, because, like, I've heard a lot of people tell me, I've heard a lot of people say, I've heard a lot of people bring up the exact same arguments for, you've seen Confused Matthews, Star Wars review, right? Well, I've heard a lot of people bring up all those same complaints. But my biggest question is, have any of them really had those complaints when the movie came out?
No, I mean, when I saw number 2, I was ecstatic. I was like, yeah, I'm going to go see this movie. It's great.
Yeah, when I got out of the theater, and I was not a kid when that movie came out, per se. I mean, I was actually, how old was I? Yeah, I was like 17 when that movie came out, and I loved it. Because because the thing about those Star Wars films, just to say this for a second, is they're fun.
Yeah, they are.
Nothing to get past the fact that they might be bad movies is they're still fun. And that's what people fail to realize. They try to overanalyze these movies, and they try to make them sound bad. But a movie's not bad if you can just sit down and enjoy yourself.
Yeah, I mean, if I go to a movie and I just sit there and I'm like, oh my god. Like, my brother dragged me to go see Cats and Dogs with him. Number 2.
Yeah, I heard your review about that. You were not happy.
Yes, no, because even though I don't like The Last Airbender, if I can bring that up again, I was entertained. Like, didn't want to fall asleep in the middle of the movie. I was at least entertained to see what would happen at the end. Though I didn't like the movie, I was entertained. A movie like Cats and Dogs, I'm just like this. When is this movie going to end? When is this movie going to end? Come on. You know,
well,
I'd be...
Yeah. Well, I actually find that really funny that when you did your top 5 movies and I made the comment, where is Last Airbender? You said, oh, that just barely missed my list. I love that you did that comment on that because I was trying to because I was kind of little teasing you there, not to be mean or anything, but because the fact is that, yeah, I understand that you probably disagree that I like that movie, but I also like back when, did you see the Dragon Ball movie?
Yes, I did.
Okay. I've heard people tell me that's the worst movie ever made, and I'm like, okay, I feel sorry for you. I've seen movies that make that movie look like Shakespeare.
Yes.
And I am not...
Personally...
Yeah?
Yeah, personally, when I was watching that movie, I was having a fun time. I mean, I was like, it's not exactly like what the Dragon Ball, I watched when I was younger, but it's still a fun movie.
Did you ever see my review that I did on that movie, or no?
I did not get to see it, no.
Okay. In my review, I basically state that, okay, I've been on the fence with this movie because immediately when this movie came out, everybody was saying how bad of a movie it is. So I had to go on the fence and I had to protect it. And now I can finally say my true feelings. Not to say that I'm going to be hard on the movie, but the fact is, but... And I go to that, but I have to be completely honest. When I saw that movie, I didn't realize how inaccurate that movie was because I was sitting down and enjoying myself. I wasn't thinking about how Goku wasn't Goku and how and all of these different things. And that's what I think people don't understand, is that if you can sit down and just enjoy a movie, doesn't matter how bad of a movie it is, not necessarily that's a bad movie, I think it's an average movie, you can still enjoy yourself. And, like, the first time I watch a movie based on something, I try to sit down and just watch the movie. I don't try to think that it's inaccurate or that it's wrong. I just try to sit down and watch the movie and enjoy it for what it is. And can you do that?
What do you mean?
Can you just sit down, like...
and... Yeah, I mean, movies, I don't like to get too critical about it. I mean, I do reviews for new movies, but I usually don't sit down playing the review in my head saying, okay, this is bad, this is bad. I usually try to just sit and enjoy it. And I usually get comments about, just personally, like personal messages, how I say everything's good. And I don't really think that. The first time around, I usually, unless the movie takes me out of it completely, I usually am able to enjoy it, unless it's a movie that completely just takes me out of it. I'm usually able to enjoy movies.
Yeah, well, my friends say that about me, is that I say every movie is good, and I'm like, well, most movies can be enjoyed. I mean, like, getting back to Star Wars is, like, actually a good example is I tried to watch Batman and Robin, a while back. It was like a few years ago. And I put it in my VCR and I started to watch it, and I watched it for 5 minutes and I took it out. Couldn't watch it. It's that bad that I can't watch it. It's getting me out of the movie now because it's so silly. But I can put in episode 2 right now and enjoy it.
Yeah.
I have no problems with ever watching that movie because it might have problems, but I have to realize the problems are there for me to have a problem with it. And I don't like to overanalyze movies. And that's my big thing, is I don't overanalyze movies, and I try to do my best. I try to not be critical when I'm watching a movie, because the thing about it is the second you get critical is the second you stop enjoying a movie. And like the biggest thing is that I plan on doing a reply to Confused Matthew's review, because the biggest thing is he brings up, for the first 15 minutes, he's bringing up in episode 1, he's bringing up the whole fact of that they're not explaining anything. Well, over-explanation is also bad.
Yeah, exposition everywhere. People complain about, have you seen Inception before?
Yes, I love that movie.
Yeah, people explain that movie is too talky, and some parts are very talky. I think that they balanced it well, because if that movie had a lot of dialogue and they just pushed all that information about, what's happened to his wife, all that stuff into one scene, people would complain even more that it's too much stuff. And I think people complain that there's too much exposition in Inception, where in, Star Wars, they're like, there's not enough exposition. So for me, it's a really thin line.
Well, I don't think there is not enough exposition, because the movie is, yet again, let me make a comment about Green Lantern, is if they made a Green Lantern space movie, and the movie was all about how the Green Lantern rings work and how this whole corp was founded, you would not enjoy the movie. You would probably say this is boring. But then if they basically go into the movie and they just have fun with the movie, you would probably complain they're not explaining enough. And I'm like, where does the line get drawn here? If they explain too much, you're going to complain. If they explain too little, you're going to complain. So why not you just complain and get it over with?
Yeah.